it's great to be back from our coverage of the solar eclipse. We really appreciate you joining us for our special coverage. We begin tonight with several developing headlines. This threat of severe storms, tornadoes, flooding across several states. It gets much worse over the next 24 hours, eventually right up into the Northeast. But we do begin tonight with the shockwaves in Arizona after that state's Supreme Court has now upheld an abortion law dating back to 1864, criminalizing all abortions except those to save the mother's life. In their decision, the Arizona justices referred repeatedly to the U.S. Supreme Court ruling overturning Roe versus Wade. Their decision on hold for 14 days pending a lower court review. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs, a Democrat, saying the ruling creates more chaos for women and doctors in her state. A doctor who performs an abortion could get up to 5 years in prison. She says voters will have their say in November. Arizona, of course, is a key battleground in the race for president this November. And the question already, how could this decision now affect the presidential race? ABC's Rachel Scott leading us off tonight.
Tonight, Arizona's highest court upholding a 160-year-old abortion ban, one of the strictest in the country. A law written in 1864, before Arizona was even a state, and before women had the right to vote. It outlaws nearly all abortions, the only exception to protect the life of the mother. Tonight, outrage from Arizona's Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs.
And the near total Civil War era ban that continues to hang over our heads only serves to create more chaos for women and doctors in our state.
Under the law, doctors who perform abortions could face up to 5 years in prison. Frustration from Arizona lawmaker Eva Birch, who recently had an abortion after her pregnancy failed.
A couple weeks ago, I had an abortion. A safe, legal abortion here in Arizona for a pregnancy that I very much wanted. Somebody took care of me. Somebody gave me a procedure so that I wouldn't have to experience another miscarriage, the pain, the mess, the discomfort. And now we're talking about whether or not we should put that doctor in jail.
In today's ruling, the Arizona court referring 22 times to the U.S. Supreme Court's decision overturning Roe versus Wade. Donald Trump has boasted of appointing 3 of the 6 justices who overturned Roe. Yesterday, he said states should make their own laws when it comes to abortion.
The states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land. In this case, the law of the state.
President Biden says that means that Trump supports state bans like the one in Arizona, which Biden today called extreme, dangerous, and cruel. Biden and Trump both know that abortion rights has won in all 6 states where it has been on the ballot, including in conservative states like Kansas, Kentucky, and Ohio. This November, voters could decide in 14 states, and one of them is Arizona, a key presidential battleground. Tonight, the governor with this message.
To the people across Arizona who are concerned about the future of abortion rights in our state, you can make your concerns known at the ballot box, and I encourage you to do so.
So this is really shaping up to be an issue that could affect the presidential race in November. Rachel Scott back with us tonight covering the race for president. And of course, not just in Arizona, but how many presidential battlegrounds, these are the key states in the Electoral College that help decide the presidential race, will have voters not only deciding in the race for president, but weighing in on the issue of abortion rights.
David, we could see this issue on the ballot in several battleground states, including Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Nevada. We know that voters in Florida will have the final say on this issue, and that does raise real questions about whether it puts a state like Florida in play for Democrats. We know President Biden's campaign is counting on this issue to drive voters to the polls this November. As for Arizona, the justices putting that ruling on hold for 14 days as a lower court reviews it. David.
Rachel Scott leading us off from Washington. Rachel, thank you. We turn now to Michigan, where James